Real excited about still to be able to be playing, and excited we're playing at home. Played really well on Saturday, and played a really good football team, and thought we executed our game plan about like we wanted to. We didn't allow an explosive play on offense. I think their longest run was 15 yards, which was a far cry from the first time we played them. And then offensively, we were able to, especially in that second half, move the football, control the clock, keep their offense on the field. And then, like we told our guys, our emphasis on special teams for years, but especially in the last several weeks, of how important that's going to be for us to continue to play was at its highest point. And as far as, I thought that was one of our best special teams games of the year. Ben was dynamite, and obviously Bruce's kick return. And for us to be successful and continue to play, we have to win that phase of the game, because people have really good offense, really good defenses, and we have to be able to utilize the strength we have with Ben LeCompte, and Bruce is doing some really good things himself. So that being said, we're moving on quickly to Richmond. We don't even watch the Northern Iowa game with our guys. If they do it on their own. But we get right into Richmond stuff. We had a short walk through last night, and then obviously with finals, guys are scrambling a little bit, and so our practices will be different times, and it'll be a little bit later, but we have to get our guys a great game plan, but we have to get them fresh, and we've got to get them back a little bit mentally, because that was an emotional game, and now they have a big week of finals, and but we'll have them ready to go come Friday night at 7 o'clock. So I'll take any questions.
Coach, is Green as good a running back as you guys have seen this year?
Yeah, he's an exceptional running back. I think it's the best offensive line that we faced this year, and I'm sure the young man would say the same thing. You got to give those guys most of the credit. He's done some phenomenal things, but as an offensive line, just watching it with our guys, that's the best line that I think we face this year.
Just going back to a different kind of preparation, because you'd seen the other two teams before. This is a brand new blank canvas for you this week.
It really is, and it creates a lot of challenges, because in the previous two games we prepped for those guys and had 6-game or 8-game breakdown. You'd seen all their games through crossover and stuff. It's a fresh start, fresh slate, and we have 12 games to get through. Some opponents are better fit for us than other opponents, but you don't leave a stone unturned. You have to watch every play of every game to see if there's anything that will help you or anything that could potentially hurt you. So our guys are burning the midnight oil, trying to make sure that we get everything accomplished we need to.
The Richmond coach called their defense this morning somewhat unique, I think was the word he used. What do you see in their defense?
Well, they run a lot. I guess they're in multiple fronts, and so that's probably why he would call them unique. They play a little bit different coverage than what we normally see in Valley games, which it's unique, but it's not something that we've never seen. It's just something that and they're really successful at what they do. They're going to line up in a few different fronts, but they're going to play you how they play, and they've been really successful. I've been so impressed defensively. They take the ball away, period. I mean, I think they're +9 in turnover margin, and they have 21 interceptions. They're very aggressive, and they get the ball back for their offense.
How did they shut down Coprich and Roberson like they did?
Well, they had an excellent plan, and they were gap sound. And in talking to the Illinois State guys that I do know, when they got behind, Illinois State got behind, they really had to abandon some of their run game plan. And I don't think they wanted to do that. I think they wanted to run the ball with those two guys, and when they got behind, they ended up having to throw it more.
Were you surprised at that result? How easy it was for Richmond Friday?
I was surprised at how easy it was. Yeah, absolutely, because we know how good Illinois State is, but we can speculate how good teams from other leagues are and stuff, but until you match up with them. But I have a lot of respect for a couple of guys I talked to at Illinois State, and they said they just beat them. Up front, they had really good players, and they got off blocks and made tackles, and they blocked exceptionally well, and the quarterback threw it well. They said they were a really good football team, and it's obviously because they beat them, but obviously when you watch the film, they were pushing the line of scrimmage, and so this is a really physical outfit we're going to face.
I know you haven't seen Illinois State this year, but for everything everybody talked about it being unfortunate the Missouri Valley's all on the same side, is it helpful having them have played a Missouri Valley team just in scheming, kind of knowing what a Missouri Valley team might bring?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's going to not necessarily – our guys are going to have their eyes open and say, okay, wow, we know how good Illinois State was when we played them last year. Not only skilled athlete-wise, but they were physical. They were athletic up front, and Richmond really owned the game. And so our guys are going to look at that and say, holy cow, this is a really good football team, because you just don't know when you play these teams. Similar to the first time we played Montana, we didn't know how good a football team they really were. You can see it on film, but now seeing them do it against a team that you're familiar with, you garnered our respect really quickly.
The receivers, Chris, I mean, I thought they made some just unbelievable plays on the ball down the field. I mean, coverage was even good. I mean, is that the major concern, or what?
Yeah, great ball skills on those guys, and they can do something after the catch. And they lost a lot of just watching that game. They lost a lot of those 50-50 balls that, you're right, I thought guys were in great position, but, give credit to the quarterback for putting it in a spot where their guys could go and get it, and then their guys came down with some plays, and I thought Illinois State was saying, hey, we're going to try to stop your running game, because the running back is so dynamic, and when they did that and saw the extra person in the box, they made them pay. And I was really impressed with Richmond's receivers, as well as the quarterback had great accuracy.
How's your health? Any surprises?
No, in fact, it was good. Everybody that played in the game on Saturday participated in the walkthrough yesterday, and it was a little bit more than a true walkthrough. So we'll have some guys, obviously, that are going to be a little sore today, and our heaviest day will be Tuesday. Even though, quote, today is like a Tuesday, our heaviest day will be tomorrow. We won't put the pads on today. We will put them on tomorrow.
You anticipate Chris, for the last couple of weeks against Montana, Northern Iowa, any concern about not being able to get back up to that?
Well, we're going to have to build to that, Mike, no question. We're going to have to build to that. And I saw that last week after the emotional win against Montana. I thought we were pretty flat at practice on Monday and Tuesday, but I also thought that was physically and mentally draining on those guys. And then you could see Wednesday was better, Thursday was really good, and then Friday's walkthrough and stuff was, I knew our guys were on top of their game. So I don't expect them to be at that high emotional level today at practice. They've got a lot of things on their plate, but we have already addressed it. We addressed it last night of, guys, we got to get your legs back. We've got to get your mind back. You've got a lot of things going. We'll build up to this week. The biggest thing is when you come over here for the 2 hours we have you got to be locked into the game plan, and you got to be locked into a practice so that when you leave here, you'll remember what you did, and you can come back to that the next day. But we got to have your total focus and attention when you're here.
Do you anticipate teams possibly kicking away from Bruce in the future, and then is there anything you can do to combat that?
Well, yeah, we anticipate them doing that. We're a single deep look, so it's a little tougher to do that. We did it against Missouri State early in the game, trying not to let their great returner beat us, and we end up skying a few of them, and they get the ball at the 35 or 37-yard line. So, you take what you want. I mean, our guys would say, great, give it to us at the 37. So, but potentially they'll do that.
These fifth-year seniors, the red shirts, I think this will be 75 games now they've had to prepare for.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? It really is, to think that they've prepared for that many games, that their bodies have held on for that many games emotionally. That's a ton of football, and really proud to be a part of every one of those games with those guys, because that was same for me then, 75 games, because I came in 11 with all those guys, and it's remarkable what these players and we have accomplished, I think, being where we're at for a fifth straight year. And we talked about a little bit on Saturday how hard it is to replicate year after year, to get to the playoffs, then get to the Final Eight, then get to the semifinals. My hat's off to our players. They've done a phenomenal job.
Pierre G. Tucker came in not much for a career until this year. Evaluate his year.
He's had a great year. And the first and foremost is, knock on wood, he stayed healthy, Jeff. And that was the thing that he couldn't do his first couple years. And luckily for us, he didn't have to with the guys we had in Travis and Esley, but this year was pivotal for him to have a big year because he was the heir apparent to S at that Sam Backer spot, and he has been durable. He's played a lot more snaps because of Champion or CJ being nicked up and us not being able to go to nickel, and I've been really happy with Pierre's play and really proud of him because he's had a great junior season for us.
Tougher this year?
Oh, he's always been tough, but it's hard when you're injured to be productive, and so no, he's always had toughness. It's just he's always been banged up, so he hasn't had the chance to have all the reps that he has now.
What's your expectation of Carson this week?
We'll find out. I mean, we didn't do anything yesterday. We just walked through, so we'll see what he can do this week.
What kind of challenges does a Friday night game play for you guys in terms of getting the guys focused on game day?
I don't think it's as big a deal. I really don't. We've done it. I don't know how many years this is in a row that we've had the game, but we've done it enough. We do. I would hate it if it were Saturday night, Saturday afternoon. I get. But we have enough things. These guys still have things going on. There's still some finals on Friday morning. We'll do a walkthrough. We've got 9 guys they're going to get a chance to graduate and walk on Friday morning, which is you talk about a heck of a day and a special day for those guys. They get to walk on graduation on their campus with a lot of their peers, and then they get to go play in a semifinal game. Doesn't get any better than that, and so it'll create very little challenges.
It's almost a bonus having a home game you weren't counting on maybe in this round, thinking that maybe you'd have to go on the road, that you treat this as just kind of cherry on top this weekend?
Well, our routine is so critical, especially during finals week, and I know that Matt and I were talking about some things of what we would do, when we would leave, what are some of the challenges had we had to go on the road. Do we got to bump finals up? Do we have to do a lot of different things from a travel standpoint? So I know our guys are really excited from the routine standpoint that we're playing at home in the Fargo Dome, as well as just these seniors saying, okay, I'm going to play my last possible game that I can at home.
The last 2 weeks, to the naked eye, it seems like you guys have tackled just outstanding tackling. You guys haven't gotten yards after a catch, or no. Has that been the case, or is it just?
No, we really have tackled much better. I mean, you say, well, did you emphasize anymore? Right, we emphasize tackling all the time. Sometimes we don't do it as well as others, but no, we've tackled really well. We've probably knocked off one day a week where we don't ever take anybody to the ground, but where we're wrapping and thudding people up. And sometimes I think as a defensive coach, you take that to an extreme when guys are beat up and you continue to do that, you never get them back healthy for a game on Saturday. And so we've backed down on that a little bit. But our guys have had really good focus, and it's a little thing, but we're constantly on these guys about bending their knees. Offense, defense, about playing with great knee bend. And that's something that maybe is easy to say, but when you're gassed and you're tired and you're beat up and you get standing up, it's hard to defend somebody on the basketball floor when your knees aren't bent in it, Dave. I mean, it's little things like that, but we are harping on those things of, doggone it, bend your knees and get yourself down.
With so many new guys this season, has this defense gotten to or past your expectations of where they could be at this point?
Well, no, they've met them. You know, I would never say they've exceeded their expectations. We're not where we want to be yet, but we're continuing to improve. And that's one thing I will say is each week somebody gets a little bit better, and that has to continue for us with all the guys we have that are either new starters or young to the program. You don't ever have it. As soon as you think you have it, you're going to get your butt kicked. And if we ever feel like that, then we won't be successful. So, no, our guys are going to remain humble and remain hungry.
How's Camp Peterson's mindset right now?
You know, he's fine. That's on me on the 54-yarder. I shouldn't have had him out there. I mean, shoot, he missed a long field goal. He'll be fine. It'd be like going on a 3-person best shot, and we were saying, Kolpak, you got to make a 25-footer every time. You know, you wouldn't putt first. I'd have Tim putt first. But, you know, that's a tough situation. And I put him in a bad spot. And I was trying to get up 7. Somehow, some way, we were trying to get up 7 so that the home run play, which we had to avoid, wouldn't beat you. And so I put him in a bad spot. That's on me.
Richmond forced 21 interceptions this year. What's your message to Easton or Carson, whoever the quarterback is, about trying to avoid?
Same thing as always is, take care of the football, and you've got to be able to read the coverage, read the flow, read the role of people, and if you don't turn the football over, you have a great opportunity to win because we're playing really good defense and good special teams.
Are you doing more with Easton now offensively than you did the first couple of weeks? He was, 13 of 17, I think, on Saturday. Is there more in the offense for him now that he's played 7 games?
Yeah, each week we probably add a few more things, but I thought Easton played a great football game on Saturday. You talk about an efficient game at 13 of 17, not a ton of yards, but really effective yards, and he didn't have a turnover. He got us in so many right calls in the run game because these guys were lining up in all different fronts and different blitzes, and I thought he did a phenomenal job of getting us in the right play, as well as he made a couple of big time throws. The one out of the pocket where he threw to Shep was huge. Even a little thing like we said, you cannot take a sack when there was we can't throw it out of bounds when there's 3:50 left, and we were trying to keep the clock going. And he kind of get a quick shovel to Chase, and Chase made a great play. Even though we didn't get the first time, we kept the clock going. He's starting to understand those things so much better. So the more he understands those things, the more we'll give him in a game plan.
Bob Nielsen got the job at South Dakota this morning. You have a comment on that?
Happy for Bob. I don't know his reasonings for leaving or reasonings, any of that stuff. Those are his decisions. Bob's a great football coach, so Bob's going to be successful wherever he goes, and I'm happy for him.
Chris, with an earlier week, does that mean you got to know about Carson by Wednesday to say if he can play?
Definitely. Definitely we'd have to know earlier. But we're confident in Easton. And more importantly, Easton and his teammates are really confident in him because he is getting better and better, and he's feeling more comfortable.
Does he have more leeway now, Chris, in terms of making calls at the line than he had at start 2?
We're just giving him not necessarily more leeway. We're just, in the past, we'd have said, hey, we're going to either run it left or run it right based on the 3 technique. Now we're adding, you can throw the bubble. You can change the run scheme in general. You have to be able to change the protection. But he's seeing things so much better. And it's just easier to see those things at home than it is on the road. You get the plays in faster. Our guys are feeling more comfortable. It's a more comfortable atmosphere at home for him.
With King too, one thing Tim always said is he's a lot better when he sees the picture over and over and over again. It seems like he's seen the picture over to a point now where he's probably playing at his highest level. Is that accurate?
Yeah, very much so. And we're giving him the ball a little bit more. He's earned that because he's playing real high level right now. He's running with a great purpose and a great attitude, and he's a tough guy to bring down. And some of his best runs on Saturday were for 1, 2, and 3 yards, and some of those plays weren't blocked for a yard, and he'd get us 3. And then hitting the big play, which Northern Iowa never gives up in the run game, to a true running back. They've given up some things on the quarterback run game, but when he hit the one on a simple zone play, and there was an arm tackle in there, and he blew through it, that 50-yard run was a critical play because it really, I think, broke their back.
Opposing coaches who come in here for the first time, and what's their reaction to playing here in the atmosphere? Because this is Richmond's first time coming here. There's a pattern of teams struggling the first time.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm assuming that they're going to do a lot of research and talk to the people that they would know, and there's a lot of coaches that they would know in their own league that have come in here. You can have the crowd noise and stuff pumped into your stadium or into wherever indoor facility you have. No, I really haven't reached out to many people or seen many that you'd ask, okay, what do you do? I think the biggest thing is how you snap the football. How are you going to do that? And there's a multitude of ways that people do it.
What kind of advantage can that give your defense with the crowd noise?
Well, just getting off the ball faster, seeing the football just like the offensive tackle sees the football. Just making sure that we can utilize the crowd noise, and we know when the potential snap count could be or cadence, because he's going to go on the hand, the foot, the arm, the wrist, center, guard tap in the center. There's a lot of variations to that.
Chris, I hate to ask another Carson question, but beyond that, if Carson dresses, does that mean you have to take a jersey from somebody else? And is that a quarterback?
We definitely would, and we have not made that determination. But you're right, he was 61, so to speak, last week, and I don't know who that would be.